Trust none, for oaths are straws, men's faiths are wafer cakes. William Shakespeare. Imagine a garden, beautiful flowers bloom, you tend to them carefully, but one plant thrives only when the others wilt. It grows stronger with each failure. That plant is the friend who secretly celebrates your defeats. They tell you everyone loves a comeback story. This is a lie. Some people only love to see you fall. Right now you are surrounded by them. They smile, they offer help, but inside they are watering the weeds in your garden. They are waiting for your flowers to die. What do they gain? Your misery validates their own pathetic lives. Your failure is proof they're not so bad after all. They need you to stay down so they can feel tall. This is not friendship. This is parasitic survival. And it's closer than you think. Watch what happens when you share good news, a promotion, a new relationship, a personal best. Do they offer genuine congratulations, or is there a subtle sting in their response, a backhanded compliment, a reminder of past failures? These are the telltale signs. They are celebrating your failures more than your wins, and you need to understand why. Here's how you starve this parasitic plant. Stop sharing your victories with them. Give them nothing to diminish. Confide only in those who genuinely want to see you rise. Build a fortress around your successes. Let them see only the finished product, not the messy process. Let them guess. Let them wonder. Let them choke on their envy. If you announce your plans, they will find ways to sabotage them. They will plant seeds of doubt. They will whisper negativity. But if you quietly work towards your goals, there's nothing for them to attack. There's no target to aim for. Your silence is your shield. Your success is their defeat. Machiavelli said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." What he understood is that perception is everything. Let them perceive whatever makes them comfortable. Your reality is yours alone. Protect it fiercely. But there's another, more insidious form of sabotage, one that hides in plain sight. It disguises itself as support. What is it? They're happy when you fail, too happy. They celebrate your setbacks more than your victories. This isn't support, it's poison. This twisted glee stems from their own inadequacy. Your failures validate their stagnant lives. Your stumbles make them feel superior, if only for a fleeting moment. It's a desperate grasp for control in a world where they feel powerless. They need you to fail, because your success is a mirror, reflecting their own shortcomings. This need festers, becoming a quiet, insidious sabotage. Watch what happens when you share good news, a promotion, a new relationship, a personal triumph. Do they offer genuine congratulations? Or is there a subtle undercurrent of envy, a backhanded compliment, a quick dismissal? Their eyes betray them. Their tight smiles reveal the truth. They can't bear to see you rise, because it reminds them of how far they've fallen, or rather how far they've refused to climb. Here's how you neutralize this toxic dynamic. Starve it of oxygen. Stop sharing your victories with them. Confide only in those who genuinely want your success, not those who secretly resent it. Cultivate a circle of allies, not envious observers. Guard your aspirations. Protect your joy. If you announce every step of your journey, you invite their judgment, their negativity, their subtle sabotage. They will find ways to diminish your achievements, to plant seeds of doubt, to undermine your confidence. But if you quietly pursue your goals, there's nothing for them to attack. There's no target to aim for. Your silence is your shield. Your success is their defeat. Machiavelli said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." What he understood is that perception is everything. Let them perceive whatever makes them comfortable. Your reality is yours alone. Protect it fiercely. But there's another, more insidious form of sabotage, one that hides in plain sight. It disguises itself as support. What is it? They're smiling, but their eyes betray them. The friend who claps loudest at your stumbles, the one who offers a shoulder while secretly celebrating your setbacks. This is the parasite of envy. It drains your energy. It poisons your ambition. Why does it destroy you? Because it warps your perception. You begin to second-guess yourself, to fear success, knowing it will bring their disguised malice. Their fake concern becomes a weapon. They manipulate your emotions, turning your victories into sources of anxiety. They make you believe you're alone, that your wins are underserved. This erodes your confidence. It makes you dependent on their twisted approval. Watch what happens when you share good news with them. A promotion, a successful project, a new relationship. Do they offer genuine congratulations? Or is there a subtle dig, a backhanded compliment, a reminder of your past failures? Oh, that's great, but remember that time they can't stand to see you rise above them. Your success is a mirror reflecting their own inadequacy. It's a constant reminder of what they lack. Here's how you neutralize this. Starve the parasite. Cut off its oxygen supply. Stop sharing your victories with them. Limit your interactions. Create distance. Focus on those who genuinely support you. Those who celebrate your wins without reservation. Build a fortress of positive influence around yourself. Shield yourself from their negativity. If you announce every step of your journey, they'll find ways to undermine you. They'll plant seeds of doubt. They'll create obstacles. They'll poison the well. But if you quietly build, if you let your success speak for itself, there's nothing for them to attack. There's no target to aim for. Your silence is your shield. Your success is their defeat. Machiavelli said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." What he understood is that perception is everything. Let them perceive whatever makes them comfortable. Your reality is yours alone. Protect it fiercely. But there's another, more insidious form of sabotage, one that hides in plain sight. It disguises itself as support. What is it? It's the constant need for validation, the craving for approval, the addiction to external praise. This is the approval trap. The trap is Schadenfreude. They smile when you stumble. They offer a hand, but hope you fall. They celebrate your failures more than your wins, because your setbacks elevate them. This envy festers, poisoning every interaction, turning them into emotional vampires, feeding on your disappointments. Why is this so destructive? Because it warps your self-perception. You begin to self-censor, hiding your ambitions, downplaying your successes to avoid triggering their resentment. You shrink, you dim your light. You become a smaller version of yourself, tailored to their insecurities. Your potential withers, choked by their silent animosity. Your energy is diverted, spent managing their fragile egos instead of fueling your own ascent. Nothing grows in that shadow. Nothing thrives in that contaminated environment. Watch what happens when you share good news. Do they offer genuine congratulations? Or is there a subtle undertone of envy? Do they subtly diminish your achievement, pointing out flaws or potential pitfalls? Do they change the subject quickly, steering the conversation back to their own concerns? These are warning signs, red flags waving in the wind. Heed them. Here's how you neutralize this insidious envy. Starve it. Stop sharing your vulnerabilities with them. Stop seeking their approval. Stop giving them ammunition to use against you. Compartmentalize. Create distance. Build a fortress around your ambitions and let them remain outside the walls. Filter what you tell them. Give them only the surface, the mundane, the insignificant. If you announce your plans to the world, expect resistance, expect doubt, expect sabotage. People love to tear down what others are building. But if you quietly work towards your goals, keeping your progress hidden, there's nothing for them to attack. There's no target for their envy. Your momentum builds unseen, unstoppable. Machiavelli said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." What he understood is that perception is everything. Let them perceive whatever makes them comfortable. Your reality is yours alone. Protect it fiercely. But there's another, more insidious form of sabotage. One that hides in plain sight. It disguises itself as support. What is it? It's the constant need for validation, the craving for approval, the addiction to external praise. This is the approval trap. The approval trap is a gilded cage. You trade your autonomy for fleeting moments of validation. You become a puppet, dancing to the tune of external expectations. Every decision, every action is filtered through the lens of, will they approve? Your own desires become secondary, your own instincts muted. Why is this craving for approval so debilitating? Because it makes you predictable. It makes you manipulable. Those who understand your need for validation can easily control you, offering praise when you conform, withholding it when you conform, withholding it when you deviate. You become a slave to their opinions, sacrificing your own integrity for a pat on the head. You bleed power, you leak energy, you erode your soul. Think about the last time you sought someone's approval. Did you compromise your values? Did you betray your own intuition? Did you feel a sense of emptiness, even after receiving the validation you craved? That emptiness is the void where your self-respect used to be. The cost of external validation is always higher than you think. Here's how you break free. Cultivate self-approval. Learn to trust your own judgment. Embrace your imperfections. Define your own standards and strive to meet them, not the standards of others. Seek validation from within, not from without. The strongest fortress is built on self-reliance. If you constantly seek approval, you broadcast your insecurity, you signal your weakness, you invite manipulation. But if you remain indifferent to the opinions of others, focusing solely on your own goals, you radiate power, you become unreadable, unpredictable, uncontrollable, fallible. Machiavelli wrote, "It is much safer to be feared than loved, when one of the two must be chosen." What he understood is that respect is a more reliable currency than affection. Fear, in this context, is not about inspiring terror, but about commanding respect through strength and self-reliance. But there's another subtle way they drain you, a slow, insidious drip. It undermines your confidence, it erodes your certainty. It whispers doubts in your ear. What is it? It's the constant questioning of your decisions, the endless debate about your path, the subtle undermining of your resolve. It's the doubt virus. The doubt virus infects your mind, clouding your judgment and paralyzing your actions. It whispers insidious questions. Are you sure you're good enough? Are you making the right choice? What if you fail? It amplifies your fears, magnifying your insecurities until you're frozen in place, unable to move forward. Why is this internal sabotage so dangerous? Because it erodes your self-belief. It chips away at your confidence, leaving you vulnerable and indecisive. You second-guess yourself constantly, seeking external validation for every decision, further weakening your resolve. Your momentum stalls, your progress grinds to a halt. Imagine you're on the verge of a breakthrough. You can feel the momentum building, the opportunity within reach. But then, the doubt virus strikes. You start questioning your abilities, your strategy, your worthiness. You hesitate, you procrastinate. You lose your nerve. The opportunity slips away, and you're left with nothing but regret. Here's how you inoculate yourself against the doubt virus. Cultivate unwavering self-belief. Recognize that doubt is a natural part of the process, but don't let it control you. Challenge your negative thoughts. Focus on your strengths. Celebrate your past successes. Surround yourself with people who believe in you. Build an impenetrable wall of self-confidence. If you broadcast your doubts, you invite criticism. You give others permission to undermine you. But if you project unwavering confidence, even when you're uncertain, you command respect. You inspire trust. You inspire trust. You create an aura of invincibility. Machiavelli observed, "The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. Therefore, it is necessary to be a fox to discover the traps, and a lion to terrify the wolves." What he understood is that strength alone is not enough. You must also possess the cunning to recognize and avoid the traps that others set for you, including the trap of self-doubt. But there's another subtle form of manipulation, one that preys on your empathy. It exploits your kindness, it drains your resources, it leaves you feeling resentful and used. What is it? It's the constant asking for favors, the relentless neediness, the subtle expectation of your assistance. It's the favor faucet. The favor faucet is a drain on your time, your energy, and your resources. They constantly ask for your help, your advice, your connections, without ever reciprocating. They drain you dry, leaving you feeling exhausted and resentful. They treat you like a vending machine, dispensing favors on demand. Why is this one-sided relationship so damaging? Because it devalues your time and effort. It creates an imbalance of power, where they are always taking and you are always giving. You become an enabler, reinforcing their dependency and perpetuating the cycle of exploitation. Your own needs are neglected. Your own goals are sidelined. Think about the person who always asks for your help but never offers theirs. Do you feel a sense of obligation to assist them even when it inconveniences you? Do you resent their constant requests but feel guilty saying no? That guilt is a weapon they wield against you. Here's how you shut off the favor faucet. Learn to say no. Set clear boundaries. Prioritize your own needs. Don't feel obligated to help those who consistently take advantage of you. Reciprocity is the foundation of any healthy relationship. If they are not willing to give, then you should not feel compelled to give either. If you always say yes, you become predictable. You become a doormat. People will walk all over you. But if you learn to say no, you command respect. You protect your time and energy. You demonstrate your self-worth. Machiavelli advised, "Men are so simple and so much inclined to obey immediate needs that a deceiver will never lack victims." What he understood is that people are easily manipulated by those who appeal to their immediate needs and desires. Don't be a victim. Protect your resources. Guard your boundaries. But there's another subtle attack on your resolve. A slow, insidious erosion. It undermines your confidence. It makes you question your sanity. It gaslights you into believing that you're overreacting. What is it? It's the constant minimization of your concerns, the subtle dismissal of your feelings, the casual invalidation of your experiences. It's the reality shrinker. The reality shrinker distorts your perception of reality. They minimize your problems, dismiss your feelings, and invalidate your experiences, making you question your own sanity. They make you feel like you're overreacting, too sensitive, or imagining things. They erode your trust in yourself. Why is this form of manipulation so insidious? Because it makes you doubt your own perceptions. It undermines your confidence in your ability to judge situations accurately. You start to rely on their version of reality, even when it contradicts your own experience. You lose touch with your intuition. You become dependent on their validation. Imagine you're expressing concern about a situation. The reality shrinker responds with phrases like, "You're overreacting, it's not that bad," or "You're imagining things." Over time, these subtle dismissals can erode your confidence and make you question your own sanity. You start to doubt your own perceptions, and you become more vulnerable to their manipulation. Here's how you counteract the reality shrinker. Trust your own intuition. Validate your own feelings. Don't let others define your reality for you. Document your experiences. Seek support from trusted friends or family members who will validate your perceptions. Reclaim your power. If you allow others to define your reality, you surrender your autonomy. You become a puppet dancing to their tune. But if you trust your own intuition and validate your own experiences, you reclaim your power. You become the master of your own destiny. Machiavelli wrote, "The best armor is to keep out of range." What he understood is that the best defense is to avoid situations where you can be harmed. Distance yourself from those who shrink your reality. Protect your mental and emotional well-being. But there's one last subtle weapon they use, a way to keep you off balance, a way to control the conversation, a way to maintain their dominance. It's the art of deflection, the constant shifting of blame, the subtle redirection of attention. What is it? It's the blame boomerang. The blame boomerang is a tactic used to deflect responsibility and shift blame onto others. They never admit fault, always finding a way to blame you, the situation, or someone else for their own mistakes. They are masters of denial and manipulation, using blame as a weapon to control and dominate. Why is this tactic so effective? Because it keeps you on the defensive. It forces you to justify your actions and defend yourself against their accusations. It drains your energy and distracts you from your own goals. It creates a climate of fear and distrust, making it difficult to build genuine connections. Imagine you confront them about a mistake they made. Instead of taking responsibility, they deflect the blame onto you, saying things like, "If you had done your job properly, this wouldn't have happened." Or, "You're always blaming me for everything." You find yourself defending yourself, feeling guilty and confused, while they escape accountability. Here's how you disarm the blame boomerang. Refuse to accept responsibility for their actions. State your position clearly and calmly, without getting drawn into their emotional drama. Focus on the facts. Don't let them bait you into an argument. Hold them accountable for their own behavior. If you accept their blame, you reinforce their behavior. You become an easy target for their manipulations. But if you refuse to accept responsibility for their actions, you break the cycle of blame. You reclaim your power and set healthy boundaries. Machiavelli understood that it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. In the context of dealing with manipulators, this means that it is better to be respected and feared for your strength and boundaries than to be loved and taken advantage of for your weakness. Do not fear confrontation. Do not shy away from setting boundaries. Protect yourself from the blame boomerang. But there's one final insidious trap, one that many fall into without realizing it. It's the belief that you can change them, the hope that you can fix them, the illusion that your love will be enough. What is it? It's the savior complex. The strategy: mirror back their veiled contempt. When they diminish your wins and amplify your losses, respond in kind. Don't argue, don't defend, simply reflect their behavior. If they subtly undermine your success, subtly undermine theirs. If they revel in your setbacks, show them how it feels when the spotlight shines on their own. Why does this work? Because manipulators are often cowards. They attack from the shadows, using passive aggression and subtle digs. They thrive in an environment where they can inflict damage without taking responsibility. When you mirror their behavior, you expose their game. You force them to confront the ugliness they project onto you. More importantly, you deny them the satisfaction of seeing you react emotionally. Your cold, calculated mirroring tells them you see through their charade and that you are not afraid to play their game. Think about the last time this person celebrated your misfortune, the thinly veiled glee in their voice, the subtle jabs disguised as concern. Now, imagine responding in kind. The next time they share a setback, offer a supportive response, dripping with the same insincerity they've shown you. Match their energy, reflect their cruelty, watch them squirm, watch them backpedal. They will either be forced to acknowledge their behavior or retreat from the field of battle. Here's how to execute this strategy. First, identify the specific tactics they use to undermine you. Is it subtle put-downs, backhanded compliments, exaggerated sympathy? Once you know their playbook, you can prepare your response. When the moment arrives, deliver your mirrored response with a deadpan expression. No anger, no emotion, just a calm, calculated reflection of their own behavior. The key is to be subtle, to avoid escalating the conflict into a full-blown argument. Your goal is to make them uncomfortable, to make them question their behavior, to make them think twice before attacking you again. If you were to directly confront them, they will deny everything. They will accuse you of being paranoid, insecure, or overly sensitive. They will gaslight you into believing that you are the problem. But if you quietly mirror their behavior, There's nothing for them to attack. There's no accusation to deny. There's only the uncomfortable truth reflected back at them. They will feel the sting of their own medicine, and they will know that you are not someone to be trifled with. Machiavelli wrote about the importance of appearing virtuous while acting ruthlessly. What he understood is that people are more easily deceived by appearances than by reality. Your mirrored response is a form of deception. You are appearing to be supportive and empathetic while subtly exposing their cruelty. You are using their own tactics against them, turning their weapon back on themselves. But there's one final insidious trap, one that many fall into without realizing it. It's the belief that you can change them, the hope that you can fix them, the illusion that your love will be enough. What is it? It's the savior complex. The savior complex, the delusion that you can rescue someone from their own self-destructive patterns. It's the belief that your love, your understanding, your patience will be enough to transform a fundamentally toxic person. This is a trap, and it's a trap that will bleed you dry. Why does the savior complex destroy you? Because it blinds you to the reality of the situation. You become so focused on fixing the other person that you neglect your own needs, your own boundaries, your own well-being. You pour your energy into a bottomless pit, hoping to see a flicker of change, a sign that your efforts are not in vain. But the manipulator will never change. They will only exploit your desire to help them, using your empathy as a weapon against you. They will become increasingly dependent on you, draining you of your resources and your spirit. Think about the relationship. How many times have you excused their behavior? How many times have you justified their actions? How many times have you told yourself that they will change if you just love them enough? This is the savior complex in action. It's the voice in your head telling you that you are responsible for their happiness, that you can fix their brokenness. This is a lie. You are not responsible for their choices, and you cannot fix what they refuse to acknowledge. Here's how to break free from the savior complex. First, accept that you cannot change anyone but yourself. This is a fundamental truth, and it's one that you must internalize. You can offer support, you can offer guidance, but you cannot force someone to change. Second, set clear boundaries. Decide what you are willing to tolerate and what you are not. Communicate these boundaries clearly and enforce them consistently. If they cross the line, hold them accountable. Third, prioritize your own well-being. Focus on your own needs, your own goals, your own happiness. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you continue to enable their behavior, they will never take responsibility for their actions. They will remain trapped in their toxic patterns, and they will drag you down with them. But if you set clear boundaries and prioritize your own well-being, you create space for them to change. You force them to confront the consequences of their actions, and you give them the opportunity to choose a different path. Whether they take that opportunity is up to them. Your responsibility is to protect yourself, not to save them. Machiavelli understood that it is often necessary to be cruel to be kind. What he understood is that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is to let someone face the consequences of their actions. This may seem harsh, but it is ultimately the most compassionate approach. By refusing to enable their behavior, you are giving them the opportunity to learn and grow. But there's one more weapon they will use, one designed to keep you ensnared in their web. It's the art of playing the victim. The constant cries for help, the exaggerated tales of woe, the relentless self-pity. What is it? It's the manipulation through manufactured weakness. Manipulation through manufactured weakness. The calculated use of vulnerability to control and exploit others. It's the art of portraying oneself as helpless, fragile, and in need of constant support, in order to manipulate others into providing that support. This is a powerful weapon, and it's one that is often used by those who lack genuine power. Why does this strategy work? Because it preys on your empathy. It triggers your natural desire to help those in need. You see their vulnerability, and you feel compelled to offer assistance, to provide comfort, to alleviate their suffering. The manipulator knows this, and they will exploit your empathy to the fullest extent. They will exaggerate their problems, they will downplay their strengths, and they will make you feel guilty for not doing enough to help them. Think about the times they have come to you with their problems, the endless stream of complaints, the constant need for reassurance, the dramatic tales of woe. Did you ever notice how their problems always seem to be bigger than yours? How they always seem to need more help than you could provide? This is manipulation through manufactured weakness in action. They are using their vulnerability to drain your energy, to control your time, and to keep you trapped in their orbit. Here's how to disarm this weapon. First, recognize the pattern. Look for the telltale signs of manufactured weakness, the exaggeration, the self-pity, the constant need for reassurance. Once you recognize the pattern, you can start to detach emotionally. Second, set boundaries. Limit the amount of time and energy you are willing to invest in their problems. Be firm and consistent. If they try to guilt you into doing more, stand your ground. Third, encourage them to take responsibility for their own lives. Remind them of their strengths and encourage them to find solutions to their problems. If you allow them to wallow in their self-pity, they will never learn to cope with their challenges. They will become increasingly dependent on you, and they will drain you of your resources and your spirit. But if you encourage them to take responsibility for their own lives, you give them the opportunity to grow and thrive. You empower them to become stronger and more resilient, and you free yourself from the burden of being their constant caretaker. Machiavelli advised rulers to appear compassionate while remaining ruthless. What he understood is that people are more easily controlled through their emotions than through their reason. The manipulator is using this principle against you. They are appealing to your emotions, triggering your empathy, and using your compassion to control your behavior. By recognizing this manipulation and setting clear boundaries, you can regain control of the situation. But there's one final tactic they will employ, one designed to silence your doubts and keep you trapped in their web. It's the weaponization of guilt. The subtle accusations, the veiled threats, the constant reminders of everything they've done for you. What is it? It's the guilt trip. The guilt trip, the manipulation of another person's emotions by inducing feelings of guilt, shame, or obligation. It's a powerful tool used to control behavior and maintain power in a relationship. It's often subtle, insidious, and incredibly effective. Why does the guilt trip work so well? Because it attacks your conscience. It exploits your sense of right and wrong, making you feel responsible for the other person's happiness or well-being. It preys on your insecurities, your fears, and your desire to be a good person. When you are on the receiving end of a guilt trip, you feel pressured to comply, to appease the other person, to alleviate their suffering, even if it means sacrificing your own needs and desires. Think about the last time you felt guilty after interacting with this person. Did they remind you of a past mistake? Did they make you feel selfish for prioritizing your own needs? Did they imply that you were ungrateful for their help? These are all classic guilt trip tactics. They are designed to make you feel bad about yourself, to undermine your confidence, and to make you more susceptible to their control. Here's how to dismantle the guilt trip. First, recognize that guilt is a choice. You are not obligated to feel guilty simply because someone wants you to. You have the power to choose your own emotions and to resist their manipulation. Second, challenge their accusations. Ask them to be specific about what you did wrong. If their accusations are vague or unsubstantiated, dismiss them. Third, set boundaries. Refuse to engage in guilt-tripping conversations. If they start to manipulate you, end the conversation and walk away. If you allow them to guilt you into compliance, you will become a puppet in their hands. They will control your actions, your thoughts, and your emotions. You will lose your sense of self and you will become increasingly resentful. But if you resist their manipulation and set clear boundaries, you can reclaim your power. You can break free from their control, and you can live your life on your own terms. Machiavelli advised rulers to cultivate a reputation for generosity while remaining fiscally prudent. What he understood is that people are more easily controlled by the perception of generosity than by actual generosity. The manipulator is using this principle against you. They are creating the perception that you owe them something, that you are indebted to them, and that you must repay them with your obedience. By recognizing this manipulation and refusing to be guilt-tripped, you can break free from their control. In all these scenarios, remember the core principle: protect yourself first. Recognize the subtle digs, the veiled insults, the passive-aggressive jabs. Identify the patterns of behavior that undermine your confidence and drain your energy. Then, develop a strategy to counter these attacks. Mirror their tactics, set clear boundaries, and refuse to be manipulated. Remember that your well-being is paramount. This means that it is better to be respected and feared for your strength and boundaries than to be loved and taken advantage of for your weakness. Do not fear confrontation. Do not shy away from setting boundaries. Protect yourself from the blame boomerang. But there's one final insidious trap, one that